So we'll be back up here later. It's my pleasure now to introduce to you Karen Friedman, the Senior Director for the Integration Initiative. Karen and her team do an amazing job throughout the year. Ladies and gentlemen, Karen Friedman.
Thank you, Pete. We are so honored and excited to have so many participants from the Integration Initiative here tonight. What a great opening that was. We're also excited to have many legends here, including Nate Solder and Pete Brock. I mean, Pete Brock, one of my earliest childhood memories was watching you in January of 1986 with my dad in my living room on the north side of Chicago. That's right, I am a Bears fan. Hey, Pats won. That year was a good year for the Chicago Bears. I come from a football family, as you can see, and you can imagine that when my dad spoke, we listened. So in the winter of 1985, when my dad yelled at us, "Where the hell is Marshfield?" while we were riding in the back of the station wagon, my brother and I listened. You see, this was also my first memory of the YMCA. My father had yelled this at no one in particular as we were driving around the north side of Chicago looking for our Y. Typically, my mom, who had stayed at home with us, would take us to swim lessons, but my dad had started taking us once my sister got sick. My sister was born with a developmental disability, and when she was 2, she suffered from a massive seizure, which caused her to go into a coma for a couple of months. She was in intensive care at Chicago Children's Hospital, and everything changed, including Dad now taking us to swimming classes at the Y, since my mom was now constantly at the hospital. When my sister woke up, she had severe medical complications and required constant care. My parents fought to get her into a nursing home for children with disabilities. She was admitted just as our school year was ending. It was only about 20 minutes from our house, and my mom was able to visit her every day, bringing my brother and I in tow. The only rule I can remember was that kids weren't allowed into the facility. So that obviously included my brother and I. We could wait in the lobby, which consisted of 2 chairs and a table, and we would wait sometimes for hours for my mom to visit with my sister. One time, when we were being particularly good, the receptionist let us take a peek into the facility and see my sister. She was in the hallway waiting to be served lunch. She would wait in the hallway for about 2 hours in a line, be fed, and then go back to her room alone. Even to me as a kid, this seemed archaic. And just to be sent back to your room alone and not with other kids, it just was disconcerting to say the least. One day, driving back with my mom, she said, "I just wanted to be accepted and with other kids." That's it, a seemingly small request which has stayed with me ever since. So yes, this is why I am crazy about inclusion. If you ask my staff, I am crazy about inclusion. All I talk about is inclusion. And I can talk for days about the research, but it's the personal experience that really drives me. You see, my sister passed away when she was 5, and her life still influences me every single day. So you can imagine how excited I was to learn my daughter would be in a swim class with a child with autism that I had been working with for a couple months. I told her that he would be in her class, and she said to me, "Why do I have to be in a class with a special needs kid?" I've never felt such a personal sense of failure. I had this personal experience that really had become the focal point of my life, of my career, and my daughter seemingly rejected it in an offhand comment. I went to watch her swimming lesson, and I seriously made plans in my head that we were going to start volunteering at Rentham State School, which isn't far from here. I would expose her to the negative side of institutions, of placing individuals in separate settings just because of their differences. And we were going to volunteer for entire weekends. I had it all worked out. After class, she came running up to me and she said, "Guess what? Jimmy got the cone from the bottom of the pool. He was the only one that could do it, and he's going to show me how next week." Jimmy was the kid with autism. So all it took was one inclusive class for her to realize the importance and the greatness of having everyone, no matter their ability, within the same class. In the midst of a seemingly great personal failure, I experienced the success of inclusion and how it can take a little time for the underlying positive qualities, not so much the superficial qualities of an individual, to be really seen. My daughter no longer complains about the class, and I've canceled all plans to volunteer at Rentham State School. So my passion is about the little moments of inclusion we are providing, not just for kids with disabilities, but the benefits for all of us. Sometimes it's not overcoming some great obstacle or disability, but being able to see and accept someone for who they are as an individual. If it's not a parent, I love my job. I was so fortunate 3 years ago when my Y asked me to come help run an inclusive program for kids with disabilities, kids like my sister. I started in the spring and my first goal was summer camp, inclusive summer camp. Inclusive summer camp seems like a no-brainer to me. We have inclusions in school, we should have fully inclusive summer camps. But I will tell you that camps where kids with and without disabilities play, swim, laugh together are few and far between. Imagine being denied this experience as a kid, or not being able to provide this summer option to your own child. We went from 16 kids with disabilities in our New Horizons program in 2011 and to over 100 in 2014 because of your support. And we are not done yet. And I've got to say, Pete, I am glad we are on the same team now.